If you've spent any amount of time studying the evolution of field, gear from the waxed canvas shelter halves carried by early 20th century armies to the synthetic expedition tarps, used today, you start to notice a familiar pattern. Every generation believes they've reached the peak of durability. Every material is hailed as the toughest, the strongest, the most reliable until something lighter, stronger, and more adaptable quietly takes its place. Right now, survivalists are standing in that exact moment of transition. And the strange part is, most people don't even see it happening. While forums argue endlessly about which canvas tarp holds wax better or how to waterproof cotton duck, a simple, unassuming construction material has quietly become the most effective survival tarp a person can carry. That material is Tyvek, and once you understand what Tyvek actually does in the field, how it behaves, why it excels, and where canvas struggles, the entire concept of what a surviving tarp should be begins to shift. The first major difference between Tyvek and canvas begins with weight. Canvas has history behind it, along with that rugged frontier character that makes people feel like they're part of some old-school expedition. It's durable, reliable, and time-tested. But the truth is, canvas is heavy. Not just a little heavy, it's genuinely cumbersome. A 4 to 5 kilogram canvas tarp doesn't just ride inside your pack, it punishes you with every kilometer you walk. When that same canvas gets wet, the burden doubles. Anyone who has ever tried to haul a rain-soaked canvas tarp knows the misery of dragging cold, heavy fabric that refuses to dry. Tyvek couldn't be more different. Originally designed as a construction material, not outdoor gear, it's a high-density polyethylene sheet that blocks water but allows vapor to escape. That combination makes it incredibly efficient in the field. A sheet of Tyvek weighing 600 or 700 grams replaces a tarp that might be 6 times heavier. That weight difference directly translates to survival. You burn fewer calories, hike farther with less effort, and set up your shelter faster. In the long-term survival equation, weight is not convenience, it's energy, and energy is survival. Moisture management is where the divide becomes even more dramatic. Canvas must be maintained. It needs waxing, oiling, drying, and even then it still absorbs moisture. That moisture adds weight, slows drying time, ruins insulation, and in cold temperatures can cause the fabric to stiffen or freeze solid. Tyvek behaves differently. It sheds water effectively, but still allows vapor to escape through the material, which prevents the condensation buildup you experience under plastic tarps or waxed canvas. Under Tyvek, the interior stays noticeably drier. No moisture pooling, no dripping, no waking up to a damp and clammy shelter. And while comfort may sound like a luxury, in survival, comfort is recovery. A drier environment means better sleep, better thinking, and better performance the next day. That matters far more in the field than most people ever admit. Another overlooked factor is drying speed and mold resistance. Canvas molds pretty. Leave it damp for too long and you'll find mildew, discoloration, rot, or a smell that never fully goes away. Tyvek doesn't retain moisture at all. Even after full saturation, it can dry in minutes or seconds in a breeze. For moving camps, unpredictable weather, or long-term use, a material that refuses to stay wet is a massive advantage. You don't babysit Tyvek. You don't worry about packing it damp. You don't stress about mold spreading across your shelter. You just shake it off and keep moving. Durability is where people often assume canvas wins automatically, but the reality is more complicated. Canvas is tough. There's no denying that. It handles sparks, abrasion, rough ground, and long-term exposure better than most materials. But when canvas tears, it tears catastrophically. Fixing it requires needles, thread patching, and time you may not have during a storm or fast-moving scenario. Tyvek, on the other hand, behaves like a hybrid between paper and plastic. It resists tearing surprisingly well, especially when tension is distributed correctly. But if a puncture does occur, repairs are almost instant. Tyvek tape, construction tape, even duct tape bonds to it almost perfectly. Press once, and the problem is solved. No sewing, no stitching, no downtime. That repair speed gives Tyvek a survival advantage. Canvas simply can't touch. One of the most complained about features of Tyvek is noise. Fresh off a construction roll, it crinkles loudly like stiff paper. But this is only the beginning state of the material. Once condition crumpled, kneaded, folded, worked by hand for 10 or 15 minutes, the entire texture changes. It softens, it quiets, it becomes more flexible and easier to pack. Many people who dismiss Tyvek have never actually used a conditioned sheet. For those who want to take it even further, Tyvek can be painted with acrylic or latex paint. This reduces noise, darkens the color for concealment, and adds a thin protective finish. Achieving similar performance from canvas requires full waterproofing treatments, regular maintenance, and additional weight. The true survival value of Tyvek isn't just in its weight or drying time, it's in its adaptability. A single sheet can serve as a tarp, a ground sheet, a bivy cover, a poncho, a windbreak, a gear wrap, a dry bag, a pack liner, or even a makeshift stretcher. You can cut it, fold it, reshape it, and tape it without ruining the integrity of the remaining material. Tyvek encourages improvisation. Canvas punishes it. Cutting canvas creates weak points, frayed edges, and structural compromise. Cutting Tyvek simply creates more options. That alone makes it priceless for survivalists who rely on multi-purpose gear that adapts to unpredictable environments. Canvas absolutely had its era. For centuries, it was the best material humans had. Explorers, loggers, frontier workers, and militaries depended on it because it worked. But survival thinking has evolved. Movement matters more. Efficiency matters more. Modularity matters more. And the ability to adapt quickly matters more than anything. Tyvek fits the way modern survivalists actually operate. It's lighter, faster, easier to repair, more comfortable in shifting weather, and endlessly adaptable. It multiplies your capability instead of weighing it down. If there's one message to take from this entire breakdown, it's this. A survival tarp shouldn't be a burden. It should be a force multiplier. Canvas will always have nostalgia on its side, but Tyvek is the material that lets you travel farther, rest better, repair faster, and carry more of the gear that actually keeps you alive. If you're updating your gear this year, whether you're prepping, backpacking, or building a long-term field kit, upgrading to Tyvek might be the smartest decision you make. And if you want more deep, historically grounded gear analysis and field-tested insights, make sure to stick around, share the knowledge, and help keep this community growing strong.